Hello everyone. Now let's start with the grammar of Unit 1. Alright. See, this is your textbook, English for Engineers. I hope all of you have this textbook with you, and it is written by N.P. Sudheshna and C. Savita. This is the textbook which is prescribed for your study. Though the first unit is not in this textbook, we are going to give you the handouts of the first essay of Francis Bacon, right? But the grammar is going to be followed from this lesson. So to start with, we will start with the first unit of grammar, which is word formation. And I'm sure you all must have learned word formation in your school. Now you know how word formation is, how you form a word. Now you form a word with the use of prefixes and suffixes, right? Prefixes are something that is added before the word. Suffixes are added after the word, right? This is something that we all know. So now if you look into your textbooks, there are a few examples which are given here for prefixes. For example, the word do, D-O. In case you write the word do, what do you think is the prefix for do? It is undo. This is there in your textbook. Do, undo. And then we have another word, sincere. Very simple word, sincere. What is the prefix that you can add for sincere? You can say insincere, right? Insincere is the prefix. Prefix here is in, alright? So insincere, like this you have different examples given in your textbook where you have judge, misjudge, engage, disengage, biography, autobiography. Alright, you have used these words here. Now coming to the next set of words. Here it is nation. Now in case you have to add a suffix to nation, what can we make it? We can make it as national or nationality, isn't it? We can add the last few words as a suffix here. Then we have drive. What can you add? What can you add as a suffix to the word drive? ER, which is driver. And then we have enjoy. Enjoy, the suffix could be enjoying, and it could also be enjoyment. And then we have inspire, inspiring, inspired. All these are suffixes to the word. Motivate is motivating, motivated. Alright, so these are a few suffixes which are added. I write the word here for you. This is the prefix here. Here it is the prefix and here it is the prefix. And then in case I use the word motivate, here you can say motivated, where you are adding ed as the suffix. So these are a few examples which are already proved, which are already in your textbook. Now let's look at task 1 for prefixes. Alright, here it talks about form opposites of the words given below by adding a prefix. When a word, with the given word, the prefix should be added in such a way that it results in the opposite of the word. It has to become the opposite of the word that is given to you. For example, the first one is already done in your textbooks. It says lead. Okay, lead. So in order to make lead the opposite, what should you add? You have to add a prefix, and where you can very easily add the word miss to the word lead. Mislead. Lead, the opposite is mislead, isn't it? So in the same manner, look at the next one, qualify. Qualify. What do you think? Okay, qualify. You have to make it the opposite, qualify. Alright. In case you have to make it an opposite, you have to add a prefix which says disqualify. Disqualify. This makes it the opposite. That prefix makes it the opposite of qualify. The next one is possible. This is very easy, right? You got the right word. Yes, you're right. It is impossible. Now coming to the next one. It says climax. Oh, this is very popular in movies, isn't it? What is the climax? We are all very interested in knowing the climax. So climax, and see what I'll give you the meaning of what anti-climax is the word. When you add the word anti as a prefix for climax, it is the opposite of climax. Now climax is when you are watching the whole movie and you know that this is going to be the end. For example, the hero is suffering from the beginning of the movie. At the end of the movie, what is assumed by you is that the hero is going to die, right? But when it becomes anti-climax, the hero who was actually supposed to die because of all the sufferings did not die, but he grew up and he became active and energetic and he did not die. That is the anticlimax. So here when you add anti to the word climax, it becomes the opposite of the word climax. Anti here is the prefix. And coming to the last word in task 1, it talks about the word called confirmed. Confirmed. Now for this word confirmed, what do you think makes it the opposite? Confirmed. Is it disconfirmed? Is it unconfirmed? Yeah. What do you think is the word? It is unconfirmed. Unconfirmed is the right prefix that can be added before the word confirmed. Right. So this is the first unit. Now coming to the second unit, it says form adjectives by adding appropriate suffixes to the words listed below. An example has been done for you. The examples are already given here. So you have to make this an adjective. Earlier you had to make it a opposite word, but now you have to make this word given to you as an adjective. Now the first word is done for you here. It talks about person, personal, right? That becomes a adjective. Now create. What do you think is the suffix that you can add here? The suffix that should be added here is creative. When you add IVE at the end, which is a suffix, it becomes an adjective. So creative. And then beauty. Oh yes, beauty. The adjective is beautiful. You're right. Yes, it is beautiful. And then excite. Excite. And the suffix that is added there is ED. So what does it become? It becomes excited. Isn't it? You're all excited. Online classes are new to you, isn't it? And this is the first time you're attending these online classes and you're all very excited about it, right? Okay, excited. And then coming to the next word, which is pain. To make it an adjective, you should add the last, the few words at the end of the sentence, which is FUL, which is painful, and this becomes the adjective. Adjective here for this word. Now coming to the next page. Turn to the next page, and here task 3. It talks about complete the sentences using the most appropriate forms of words given in the box. And I'll read it out for you and fill up the boxes too. Please listen to it carefully. The techno-giant was penalized heavily for using customers' personal information without authorization. Now here what you have to do is you have to form the appropriate word. Now what you have there is inform, but then in order to form the appropriate word you have to add a suffix here. So instead of saying inform, you will say information, where you are adding TION at the end of the word and make it a proper form of the word. Then the motto for the new PM should be minimum interference but maximum governance, right? Minimum interference but maximum governance. The word interference isn't given there, but please add that word in your text box, right? And then maximum governance, the word govern is given in that box there. In order to give it an appropriate form, you will add a suffix and make it governance. Now coming to the third sentence, the ruling party is facing a strong, what do you think is the right word? Have a look at the words in the box. Yeah? Incumbency. Yeah? The word incumbent is given there. You should say the ruling party is facing a strong anti-incumbency wave in the upcoming assembly polls. Anti-incumbency is opposition. It's facing a lot of opposition. Alright? And then the fourth sentence. A possibility of dash life has always attracted people's attention. Now here it is, the word that is given there is terrestrial. So what do you think is the right form of this word? It should be extraterrestrial. Now extra is a prefix that you are adding to the word terrestrial. So these are the blanks here. So let me go one by one once again in case you are writing it. The first blank, you have the word information. The second sentence, the first blank is interference and the last blank is governance. For the third sentence, it is anti-incumbency, and for the fourth one, it is extraterrestrial. So these are the right forms of words with added prefixes and suffixes, right? Now, there are tables given here for a prefix and a suffix. Let me discuss that table with you. Now, if you look at the prefixes here, the word like rewrite, yeah, and then incapable, unacceptable. These are the prefixes. And if you look at the suffixes, it says reading, national, modernity. So the last few words that you are adding to the actual word are their suffixes. Now look at the meanings of the suffixes and prefixes. If you add a particular prefix, what does it mean? If you add a particular suffix, what does it mean? So the table is very clearly given here. Follow me with the table, right? The prefixes here. The prefix pre means before. The word pre, right? Preponed, postponed, we do use this, right? Pre is something that is before. Before. And the example that is given here is prelude, precondition. Something that happens before. Prelude is something that is given before a poem or before an essay. They write a prelude, an introduction, right? So it happens before the actual text or prose, right? And then next, un. Un is something which is not. Un means not. Now what is the meaning of this? Unacceptable, which means not acceptable. You use the word un as a prefix when you do not want to accept something. Not. You don't want to do it, right? And then we have unreal. Unreal, which is not real. Okay? Then coming to the next prefix, it says dis. Again, it means not. Now this is used in different situations. You should know wisely where to use what. Now disadvantage, dismount, right? You can't say unadvantage, unmount, right? So the right prefix to be used here is disadvantage. Dismount. Dismount is you have mounted something, dismount, get down, okay? And then don't climb, get down. That is the meaning here. And then re means again, okay, doing something again. We know this very easy word, right? Reawaken, rewrite. So you've written something, now rewrite. That is again a prefix that you use here. Miss. Miss means again it means something which is not or which is wrong. Misunderstand. Misunderstand is something that went wrong, isn't it? Misunderstand. Do not misunderstand me. This is something that we use, right? Which also gives you the implication that don't do something. And then misbehave. Don't misbehave. Misbehavior these days in classrooms is very common, isn't it? So don't misbehave. Don't misbehave. Not. That is the meaning here. And then in, which also means not, where you can also use the word im. In and im both are prefixes which mean not. Impossible, inappropriate. These are the words that are given here. And then by. By means two, right? By means two. Anything that you would want to say are two in number, you use the word by, the prefix by. Bicycle, biannual, bilingual. There is another word that we can use, right? By means two, which is used as a prefix there. And then coming to the word inter. Inter means between. Okay, interrelationship, interpersonal communication. This is what is happening around, isn't it? You are talking, you are listening, and I am talking. We are having an interpersonal communication. Both of us are having a process of communication. So inter is in between two things, right? Inter. Now the example here is interact, interchange. Interchange your places, interchange things, right? This is how we will use it there. And then we have super. Super, the meaning of this prefix is above. And now here, the example that is given is supersonic, Superman. You must have heard this. Superman is something that we all grew up looking, isn't it? Watching Superman. Fine. And then sub. Sub means under. Something which is under. When you use the word, the prefix sub, it means something which is under. For example, you have submarine, subsoil. Submarines are, those submarines which are in the ocean, deep in the ocean. They are under the waters, right? And then we have the last prefix here, which is anti, which I already did earlier. Anti is where you are opposing something, where you are against something. Anti, the example that is given here is antibiotic, anticlimax. That is the word that we already did, right? Antibiotic is something that we need right now. Yeah, right now to fight COVID-19 situation, we need antibiotics, right? Antibiotic is something which goes against, okay, against the virus, right? Now coming to the next one, where we are going to talk about suffixes on the next page. Now this table is again given here with the suffix and the meaning and an example word. The suffix er means comparative, where you are comparing one to the other. Comparative. This is used in a comparative situation where you say high, higher, low, lower. So you are comparing something that is high to something which is higher, something that is low to something which is lower, right? You are comparing it here. And then you have another er, which means doer, doer, where you add, when you add the suffix and that becomes a doer, worker. Worker is a doer of some work, isn't it? He is doing some work, so he is a doer, worker, right? And then operator. Operator is, what is he doing? He is operating. So like that. Communicator. What is he doing? He is communicating. So whatever he is doing, this suffix adds it and makes that person the doer. And then able. Able means that which can be done. Something that can be done. Now able, doable, and then usable. This is the word that is used here. And then coming to OUS as a suffix. OUS, what happens here? OUS adds to something which says full of. Now what is full of? OUS, yeah? You are adding the word joyous. Joyous. Full of. Now what are you full of? You are full of joy. When you add OUS to the word, it is making you something full. Alright? So joyous. And then we come to the next suffix, which is NESS, which is a state of being. A state of being. It is, for example, the word that is given here is kindness. Right? So it is a state of being. Your state of being is kindness. You are kind. So you show a lot of kindness. I am polite. I show a lot of politeness. So that is my state of being. Alright? And then the next one is FUL. FUL, it is full of something. Example, peaceful, joyful. There are so many words where you can add the word beautiful, admirable, adorable. Alright? All these words, where you can add the word full. Okay? And then next is LY. LY in the stated way, which means where you add, the word ly is added to the word called loud. Loud, loudly. Slow, slowly. Right? Fast, fastly. So this is the suffix which is used to these words. And then meant, again a very common suffix that we use so much in our day-to-day writing. So it is a state of enjoyment, employment. So meant is a state of being. So you are employed, you are enjoying. So you say enjoyment, employment. And then the last suffix that is mentioned here is ed, past tense verbs. For any verb which you want it to be a past tense of that particular verb, you use the word ed. Now here it is hoped, happened, lived, isn't it? So you are making it the past tense of the verb that you are using. So these are the meanings of the suffixes and the prefixes, and when you are adding prefixes and prefixes, the word, meaning changes. You are actually changing the meaning. The original word is changed by its meaning as well. Right? So these are about suffixes and prefixes, and now let's look at last table here where you have a few examples. Small changes in spelling are to be carried out while adding some suffixes. Now suffixes, when you are adding a suffix, there should be a slight change in the formation of the word. If you remember the previous paragraph where we filled up the blanks, where we changed the word. So in this order, you also have to change some, small changes have to be made when you are doing a suffix. Now for example, fame plus OUS becomes famous. Now here, what is the change that you have done? You have changed the spelling of the word famous. You did not say FAMEOUS. You said FAMOUS. So this is a slight change that you have to bring about when you are doing a suffix. Now in the same manner, happy. Happy is HAPPY plus NESS. Now when you have to put these words together, you have to remove the letter Y and make it I, right? Happiness. So this is a small change that you are bringing about here. Justify plus isation. Now here you have to remove the Y from justify and make it I, and the complete word would sound justification, right? And then the next word, torture plus OUS. Torture has TORTURE has a spelling there, but when you add OUS, the spelling is becoming TORTUROUS, torturous. So there is again a slight change in the word. Sacrifice plus AL, sacrificial. Confuse plus ION, You have made it confusion. So if you look at all these words, what have you done? You have made very slight changes in these words when you have added the suffix. Now this does not happen when you add a prefix. You just add a few words in front of the word to make it your prefix, right? So when you start doing all these exercises, you will know that the changes happen only during suffixes and not during the prefixes. So I hope suffixes and prefixes were clear, and the examples that I gave you you were able to understand it. Now in my next class, I am going to continue doing from task 4. Task 4, again this is a continuation of prefixes and suffixes. I will help you fill up these exercises and learn some more prefixes and suffixes in my next class. I hope you had a good session. Thank you so much. God bless.